For 1 year. Yes, 1 year. My tenure ran from October 2022
Okay.
to October 2023.
Oh, that's 1 year.
Yeah.
How hectic was that?
I actually think the thing is, I had tenured in the union for 2 years.
Yes.
My first year, I was Minister of Education and Academic Affairs. In the second year, I was UNZASU President. In all honesty, I feel the position of Academic Affairs Minister was even a little bit tedious in terms of running around compared to the presidency. The only issue which makes the presidency difficult is, yeah, everyone's last line of defense.
Oh.
So the problems no longer have, for instance, when I was in 60, I had Chimuka. If things were pushed to shove, I could run away to Chimuka and say, okay, this has failed. Now it's your turn to step
So
in.
running around, you are everyone's
Exactly.
calling.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's last
to
one.
manage being in the union and also balancing your medical school life. How was that in that 1 year course?
As life goes on, yes,
Yes.
you tend to realize that you, as a person, will have to be multifaceted at every point of your life. Even when you become a working doctor,
Yes.
there's a high likelihood that you'll be married, you'll be running a business, and the essence of living our lives generally requires that you find balance in being a proper human being. So, for me, I feel even though I was a student leader, that is the union president, and a medical student at the same time. Each of those things needed to find their own time and not interfere with each other. For instance, if I determine within myself that from 8 hours to 12 hours I should be at the ward, within this period of time, no particular union duties can disturb me unless the school is on fire. Exactly. So in short, I had put my time, I had spaced it differently. If from 00 to 03 I'm studying, that's just it. I don't need to let any union affairs interfere me. So part of being a human being and part of the whole human experience in its entirety has to do with balance. And that's how it was easy for me to balance as well.
I see. I think maybe I would want to be industry president one day.
No, you should. You should vie for it.
So, what were the benefits of being the president? What were the benefits of being part of the union?
So I feel the benefits of being part of the union as well as being part of student leadership in general, I can say there are superficial ones and then there are deep ones. So the superficial ones are what everyone will see. You know, you get a nice room. The union, in my tenure at least, in my predecessor's tenure, and I'm sure very much the next tenure, the members are entitled to certain allowances. You have certain privileges and access to information, and I would say those are at a superficial level. But at a deep level, I think being in the union helps yourself, and it makes you help other people, which in essence is what life is really about. Yes, we have people who we relate with upwardly, like our parents, our mentors. We have people we relate with from side to side, our friends, our colleagues. Then we have people we relate with downwards. Those are the people who are helping, who are mentoring, and who are running around for. And there's a certain pride and a certain satisfaction that can only come in your life when you're pouring out to help other people. It's also an individual benefit because you yourself will learn how to grow. You'll learn yourself much better when you're serving other people. And overall, it has many benefits, which some I can say are individual and some are general, but the ones which I've given are just basically general benefits.
As a president, you had the school issues as well as also interacting with political entities. So when interacting with these, did you push some policies that are now into right now? As you speak?
In my time, we had this particular issue that we wanted to bring before the minister. That is, wanted to promote the relevance of student unions and the students' voice in how the health ministry runs. Because at the end of the day, the workforce of the health sector is made by students. So what we did is we had found time to visit our office, and to our thankfulness, she was in agreement. Our main point was to bring a way for platforms. I don't know whether we can call them indunas, whether we can call them gatherings, but platforms in which students can air their views to the minister or air their views to high-ranking health officials. In that way, you tend to have leadership that doesn't only run upwards to downwards, that is from the president all the way down to the regular citizen, but the regular citizen even all the way up. And it's something that I can say has started the ball rolling, but it's something that I could not yet put into effect as the tenure runs out itself. So yes, there are those policies
That
we
must
pushed.
have been tedious, coming
It was.
interact with the health minister, you do this. Yeah, so that is what policy do you think they should know? The key, the main one.
So there are certain policies which govern the health ministry as a whole, and there are guidelines which govern health professionals. Uh, those are the HPCZ guidelines. So I think every seventh year medical student, and not just seventh year medical student, but I would go so far as saying every final year health based student should be very much interested in matters that relate to their initial phase as a health workforce. That is to say, for instance, in medicine, you have this policy or this guideline that relates to the fact that you have to practice as an intern first before you can be a senior resident medical officer and just continue with your medical career in that line. But then we've all seen at a national level the hiccups that happen with that policy, because for a medical doctor, unless the government employs you, you cannot find anywhere to work. You get my point? You cannot work in the private sector, and the opportunities are very thinned out. And now there's even issues of volunteering which arise from those issues. So I think those are some things that people need to get acquainted to and make decisions of their career from that perspective. If you want to go into academia, if you are somebody who prefers to wait on the government and chance your luck on whether or not you'll be employed, also considering the fact that that can make you stay in unemployment for even up to 5 years or even worse. But I think overall everyone should be acquainted with not just the things that are happening even around the health sector, but as final year students, especially 7th years, you should be just very concerned with the economic status of your country, so that you can also make decisions based off of where particularly your country is in relation with your career and what exactly you prefer your life to go to. Yeah.
So what role do you think politics help in terms of the pushing these policies? Yeah. What role?
A lot of people tend to think politics maybe affects certain sectors and doesn't affect some other sectors, but I would argue that the political atmosphere of a country affects literally everything that has to do with that country, especially stuff to do with healthcare, stuff to do with military, stuff to do with academia and education, all those things. Healthcare in particular it's dictated by the direction of politics. So the two are completely inseparable. So I do believe even medical doctors, as time goes, should take a key interest in vying for political positions and in just having a higher role of influence in these political sectors, because your daily lives are affected, the number of people who are employed, the idea of if people get salary increments, the idea and availability of drugs nationwide, the number of people who are dispensed into drugs, all those things at the end of the day fall down on policymakers. So
influence has a lot of significance.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Exactly.
The medical conflict, and then there are also ethics on what doctors should do, any healthcare professional. How do you think politics plays a role in their resolution, in how they come about those conflicts? What's their role?
The role is, I feel it could be a bit more defined. That is the role in which the political influence has to do with medical ethics. For instance, I will say that there's probably a course that you do in 60th year, or in your case in 5th year, and that course will be called medical jurisprudence and forensic pathology. But the basic essence of that course is really to go into depth about how you as a medical doctor has a role even on issues of national interest. That is even cases which are crimes, rape, whatsoever it is, your role as a medical doctor. But I would say that as far as political influence goes when it comes to medical ethics, I don't think it directly interferes or influences the latter, because there has been a big accusation, even worldwide, that there are certain organizations which maybe can be termed as big pharmaceutical companies, which have a role in dictating how policies should influence medical ethics. For instance, those are the people who believe that maybe COVID was a lie because politicians decided it, and hence medical doctors abandoned all their ethics in order to just feed into a political agenda. But I feel those are more conspiracy theories in nature, as I do not believe that politics, at least in Zambia, I don't think it has a very defined role in influencing or at least deterring doctors away from their medical ethics, because at the end of the day, I feel the profession is very noble and it honors its role in society very much.
Yeah, I could have asked them more questions, but we ran on time as usual. One last question just before you go. Did you have a crush on a lecturer or a nurse in the world? Anyone, even if it's a doctor.
Well, the simple answer to that is no.
No.
No. But I do say that I think there are some people who I met that I did think were quite beautiful, especially elderly people. But the details of that remain to be seen. Yes.
Private.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of our interview. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching.